as I said, we've got in the studio with us Mo Ginwalla from Gloucester City Council. Is your team, Mo, is you still called the Welfare Benefits? Welfare Rights Team. Okay, then. So, Mo, it's called the Welfare Rights?
We're the Welfare Rights Team.
You're
yes.
the Welfare Rights Team now. Okay.
We are.
What size is your team now? Because I remember when it started, it was just
six
you.
of us now.
Oh, it's grown.
Yes, I know.
So are you covering the whole of Gloucester City?
We cover the whole of Gloucester City and also Forest Dean District as well.
Right, okay. It's interesting because welfare rights is not something you expect a city council office to provide, really. But there's a history to that, isn't there?
It's all about really because the City Council do have like an anti-poverty strategy, to try and alleviate poverty in the city. It's all about improving income levels in the poorest households in the city and also improving people's quality of life as well. So it's just about raising awareness, promoting benefits of what people are entitled to.
So there's quite a few changes, isn't there, to the welfare benefits entitlements? And you wanted to let us
there's
the
quite a few things going on. I thought I'd try and keep it brief, obviously with the new coalition government that came in last year, and then, it's obviously George Osborne who's actually made the speech with the budget announcement that he made. And if I could just read out quickly, just a quick quote. Basically, he's saying that today's the day when Britain steps back from the brink, when we confront the bills from a decade of debt, a day of rebuilding when we set out a 4-year plan to put our public services and welfare state on a sustainable footing for the long term. So looking at about £12 billion saving in welfare reform in terms of benefits and that. So obviously there is quite a lot of changes coming in. Obviously one of the things is that from January this year, the £190 in-health pregnancy grant that was given to every woman who was expecting, regardless of being on benefit or work and so forth, that's now gone, which they were paying. So the changes that are coming in is quite a few with the tax credits as well. Should I just run through some of them?
Yes, please.
Is that okay? Right. First of all, one of the things, you have to bear with me because I've just got some paperwork here, so I've seen me rustling around, looking for things while I'm doing it. There's quite a lot of things about the tax credits. What I'm going to do is just mainly talk about the changes that are coming in this year from April 2011. So from April 2011, the second income threshold for the family element of the child tax credit will reduce from 50,000 to 40,000. And then from April 2011, the first and second withdrawal rates for tax credits will increase to 41%.
Okay. In layman's terms, what does that mean?
Basically, what it is that when they actually work out, it's like a taper that they put in. So it's like for housing benefit purposes, for example, there's a 65% taper. There's a 20% taper for council tax. At the moment, for tax credits, I believe it's about 38% the taper. So obviously, it's going up to 41%.
Right. So is that going up, making it more favourable or less favourable?
I think it probably will be less favourable.
Right, okay.
Will be, yes. Also, the baby element is going to be removed from child tax credit. What normally happens at the moment is that when you're first, when you have your baby, you're actually given an extra element in your tax credits that's been withdrawn from April 2011. So if you do have a baby in April, you wouldn't get anything extra because for the first year they actually give you extra amount for the baby for the first 12 months. That's going to be withdrawn from April 2011.
Okay. So just taking you back to the tax credit threshold, because it's dropped by 10,000 from 50 to 40,000. Is that a joint income or is that single income?
I believe that is a. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I can find out. Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
it would be any income, won't it?
Yeah.
So that threshold's quite low, really. Think about it, because two people earning even if you average it out, earning £20,000 a year each in a family with 5 children potentially, that is quite a significant drop, isn't it? Yeah. So does that mean that if people were in receipt of tax credit and they were on the, they had a 50,000 income or somewhere between 40 and 50, and they're currently in receipt of tax credit, does it mean that those people come April 2011 will stop qualifying for tax credit?
I think what would happen is that because normally around about May, June, July time, people have their renewals then anyway, so obviously they will take into account what their income was for the previous year. So obviously tax credit runs in line with the tax system. For 2010-11, they will look to see what the income was for that period and then obviously work out what they would be entitled to. So I'm not sure how they're going to work that, but obviously they will actually inform people when they actually have their renewals of what they're going to be taking into account.
Okay then.
I talked about the baby element removing. The other thing also is that in April 2011, the child element of the child tax credit will be increased by 150 above the consumer price index. Just so you know, so that's good news.
Right.
The other thing also is that the previous government were going to introduce a £4 supplement in child tax credit, which was announced in the March 2010 budget. This is no longer going to be happening. The coalition have actually scrapped that now.
Right, okay. So again, that's good news.
Yeah. Also from April 2011, the level of year rise of income that will be disregarded from calculations of tax credit entitlement will decrease from 25,000 to 10,000, and from April 2013 will be reduced by another further 5,000.
Right, what does that mean for somebody who's out there and is in receipt of tax credit? He said it's going to reduce from how much initially?
It's saying that from April 2011, the level of in-year rises of income that will be disregarded from calculation of tax credit entitlement will decrease from 25,000 to 10,000. So normally what happens is if there is a rise in your income, obviously some of it can be discarded or don't need to notify, or if it goes up and down. So that's basically what they're saying now, is that the level of in-year rise of income that will be discarded from calculation of tax credit entitlement will decrease from 25 to 10,000, because it was 25,000 before, so it's going to be down to 10,000, and then from April 2013 it will be reduced by another further 5,000.
So it'll go down to 5 then? Right, so... okay, things like that, because it's going to change over a period of time, and they're saying there are going to be changes. If people if people are in a situation where their income does increase by 10,000 in the first year or 5 in the second year, I'm assuming that they will be notified that these are the changes that they need to notify who is it who does the
it's HMRC in Customs, because the other thing that the tax credits actually bringing in is one of these, what they're bringing in is instead of people notifying them about the changes, tax credit assessments, so real-time pay-as-you-earn information will be used to inform tax credit calculations, reducing the emphasis on the claimant to notify HMRC of income changes. So they were bringing that in, because I think that just, instead of people notifying, because at the moment the HMRC rely on people actually ringing up, notifying of the change of circumstances, what they normally go by. But what they will do now is that they can actually see, from their system,
from the salaries
to see what, and then work out on the changes for tax credit purposes.
Okay, and so it could mean that some people are going to take quite a huge reduction in their income.
Yes.
Yeah. So that people need to plan and budget for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
because the child benefit is frozen for the next 3 years, and then in April, I think it's 2013. Obviously, people whose tax earnings are over a certain threshold, is it 40%? I believe it is, won't be in receipt of child benefit. So at the moment it will just stay the same for the next 3 years, which was announced last year.
And then it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so far you've already, you've announced quite a few significant changes. If people are listening, they've got concerns. Obviously, the rules can't be changed, but sometimes it's just having the information explained to you in a way that is kind of user friendly by a person who's provides that information as part of their everyday professional role. Is quite important. Now, we've had somebody's listened text to the studio and is asking. Well, they're actually saying, GFM, great to hear Mo again. Just one question for now. Do you still run your drop-in sessions on Thursdays at the Trust Centre?
Yes, they're still running 2 till 4 every Thursdays. Yes, they are.
So if somebody come along, do they see you or do they see one of the members of the team?
They would normally see me or somebody else from the team. If I can't make it, then somebody else will be there to do that, yes.
And you'll be able to sort of explain some of these changes in greater depth?
Yes, I would be, yes, and that. Can I just go about some of the housing benefit changes quickly as well? Just one final one for the tax credit, just to let you know, is that the child, which one is it? The childcare element of working tax credit from April 2011, the proportion of costs covered by the childcare element of working tax credit, which at the moment is 80%, is going to be reduced to 70%. So there will be a 10% decrease. I just wanted to just inform people about that.
So will people be automatically, will their housing benefit be recalculated, or how does that work?
Well, for housing council, that was tax credit.
So
sorry,
tax credit,
that was the tax credit. Because at the moment, if you're in receipt of working tax credits and you're working and you have children and you pay for childcare costs, you do actually get some help towards it. They pay you extra on top of your working tax credit. So at the moment, it's 80% that they can pay.
So they're going to
take it's going to reduce it to 70%. Yeah, sorry to make that clear. It's to do working tax credit, not housing benefit. But some of the changes that are coming in for housing benefit from April 2011 is that there's going to be a removal of the baby element of the family premium in your housing council tax benefit entitlement. Obviously, child benefit is fully disregarded anyway for housing council tax benefit purposes anyway. Also, I don't know whether you know about local housing allowance, which is LHA, which is based on how many people in the household and how many bedrooms and rooms in the house as well. So what's happening is that new private housing benefit claims paid at 30% percentile rates, currently 50%. There will be a restriction on that. We've been further reduction in the local housing allowance room rates, which is going to be quite a emphasis on people who are maybe renting, because at the moment the bill just for housing benefit is over 100 billion each year that's paid
nationally.
out nationally. Yes.
Okay, because what you're talking about there is some of the stuff that we've seen on the news in the press. It's they kind of use some examples. For example, some people, some families living in huge mansions in Holland Park and being paid housing benefit to be able to stay there. And it's those people it's targeted at, but it's now going to affect a much wider group of people. So, because, and I was listening, a lot of the changes are going to impact on many people, because even things like, say, for example, the 10% reduction for in tax credits for those who have used childcare, many people would have taken on jobs on the basis that they had that 80% payment. And it's not a question for you to answer, it's probably just a comment, because I don't understand how you can reduce benefits and reduce people's entitlement and at the same time reduce the burden on the taxpayer, because many people won't be in a position to be able to pay for their the childcare, therefore they won't be working. It's all of those things, because I'm not sure how they work it out, how they think all these people are going to stay in employment.
Just see how things go really from April onwards. The other thing also is that at the moment, local housing allowance, we can pay up to 5-bedroom rate. That's going to be restricted to 4 bedrooms.
So irrespective,
so if they're in a 5-bedroom, we'll only pay up to the 4-bedroom rate.
Right.
We will, however, there is a local housing allowance size criteria to include a room for a live-in carer, that we would pay extra for that.
Has that always been the case for the living carer?
No, it hasn't been.
So that's new?
That's new, coming in from April 2011.
What would be classed as a living carer, Mo?
It would be somebody who's looking after somebody with a disability. Somebody
who's being paid or somebody who's not being paid to look after that person? Say, for example, I moved into my mum's house to look after her. Would I be classed as a live-in carer?
I think it would be. I think what they're saying is that it's more of a non-resident live-in carer. So as somebody who may be in receipt of a disability benefit or carer's allowance or something like that, could be for their extra room, that they need somebody to maybe watch over them during the night time, or somebody.
Right. Yeah. So it would be somebody like me.
Somebody
then.
who is severely mentally impaired or mental health problems or something like that similar.
Yeah.
The other thing that's coming into the other thing for housing benefit and council tax benefit purposes, non-dependent deductions. This is where somebody who's an adult who's 18 over living in a property, so the person who's actually claiming housing benefit, they would have their benefit restricted because there would be an independent deduction charge made. For the last 10 years, there hasn't been any deduction. Independent deductions has been the same for the last 10 years, and that's increasing quite significantly. So the highest would be about £60 something. So if someone's rent is about £90 a week and they have an adult living with them who's working, we would take £60 or so off their non-dependent deduction. So that would have that's going up about £12 something, going up from April, which is quite a significant amount of money. But this is where they're assuming that the person is actually contributing something towards the household. Therefore, we have to take an independent deduction for housing benefit purposes. Obviously, if they're not working, we would take a small deduction, which is the smallest one.
So even if they're not working, you'd still take a deduction?
So what we would do is things like if they want job seekers allowance or income support or something like that, we would then take we would take the smallest amount going.
Which is...
So if they're aged 25, if they're aged... actually, no, we wouldn't. If they're aged 25 and over and in receipt of income support, job seekers allowance, income-based in receipt of the main phase employment and support allowance income related, or age 18 or over, not in remunerative work, we would take £9.40 a week.
So,
which is going up £2. It was £7.40 at the it's £7.40 at the moment. From April, it'll be £9.40, and the highest is £60.60, which is going up £12.85 a week.
Okay, so it's best just to live on your own in a flat, a one-bedroom flat on your own, and work and not have to claim housing benefit, and that way you'll be okay. but if you live in if you've got a 2-bedroom flat and you work and you can claim housing benefit, you'll be expected to take some money. If you've got an unemployed son in the house, you expect to take £9 off him. You'd lose extra £9 a week, so you would expect to take £18 off them. Whoa. Lots of rules.
Sure start maternity grants will be restricted for the first child only, because at the moment, if you're on receipt of qualifying benefits and you have a baby, you'd get £500. So if you had twins, you get £500 each. So if you had twins, you'd only still just get £500 and not £500 each. Also, I don't know if you know about the national insurance contributions. If your earnings are over £20,000 or more, there'd be a rise. At the moment is 0.5% they take at the moment is increasing, so your national insurance should be paying more, which will go up to 1%. Basically, national insurance contributions rise 1%, salaries over 20,000.
So that's a 100% increase?
Not 100%, 1%.
100% increase on the 0.5?
Yes.
Yes, if it's gone to 0.5 to 1%, that's a 100% increase, isn't it? Gosh, you didn't know about that one.
Yeah, 20,000. If your salary is over 20,000.
When does that start?
From April.
God, we're going to be broke. Okay.
So maximum savings credit, pension credit, people who are 60 and over who may be getting a savings credit, that's going to be frozen for 4 years. There'll be no change in that for people who are 60 and over. Also, from February this year, people who are in receipt of incapacity benefit are now going to be migrating onto employment and support allowance. It's a slow process which is going to take up until between February and March 2014 to finalise that process. So as people who are in receipt of incapacity benefit which is coupled with income support, severe disablement allowance, somebody who maybe just getting just paying national insurance contributions. So that's all going to be looked at. A lot of people will have to come off incapacity benefit and probably will have to go on to job seekers allowance, will have to sign on, because employment support is quite a
it's hard to get
rigorous benefit to get now, because it's basically about makes works pay, so people coming off and signing on and going on to that.
Those who are on currently on incapacity, they'll be approached at some stage to do their reassessment.
And last year, people who are single parents who have their youngest child is age 7 would come off income support and go on to job seekers allowance, and that's going to reduce later on this year to the age of 5, where they'll come off income support and then go on to job seekers allowance.
Okay. Scary stuff, isn't it?
So that's basically in a nutshell in terms of the housing benefit.
Okay. Have you got other changes?
September 2011, education, the EMA, education maintenance allowance will be scrapped, and it's going to be replaced with a targeted support, but no further details as yet. But obviously from 2011, EMA will be scrapped.
The two of them were getting very concerned then,
that's
because
not fair though, right?
Yeah, so December 2011, lone parents whose youngest child is over 5 will have to claim job seekers allowance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is that all your changes?
I think that's kind of like, I don't want to go into more, because there is lots of changes coming in 2012 and so forth.
Yeah, I think you better come back in 2012.
Talk about the universal credit that's coming in about 3 years' time, where housing benefit and other benefits all be rolled into
one single benefit.
Not sure who's going to be administering it at the moment.
Okay.
So
let's
we just have to wait and see what happens. But we are on hand. We're happy to help anybody. There's a team of 6 of us. We speak 10 languages between us. Please do give us a call. We've got surgeries running at the Trust Centre in Conduit Street every Thursdays between 2 and 4. We have the hospital advice surgery running from 1:30 to 4 every second Friday at the Gloucester Royal Hospital at the new atrium building, the Health Information Centre. We also have the advice surgery running at the Barton Gate Children's Centre the first Friday of each month between 9:30 and 12:30. So please give us a call on Gloucester 396979 or 396971 to make the appointments, or give us a call. We can organise home visits or come into the offices to see us, and we can do a complete benefit check and help you with your entitlements to benefits. Have I got time to say anything else quickly?
You've got a minute. Go on.
We're doing a 3-month pilot with the NHS Gloucestershire. We've had some funding. We're going to be rolling out advice in GP surgeries. So watch out. Kingsholm Surgery, Barton Gate Surgery, Matson Lane Surgery, College Yard Surgery, and hopefully the St. Michael's Surgery as well. We're going to be doing weekly half-a-day surgeries. A 3-month drop-in, 3-month pilot we're doing from February to the end of April. And there will be posters, flyers, and promoting that services coming soon, starting in February.
Starting in February, people can come to those surgeries and get a drop-in. Do you have to be a patient?
You don't have to be a patient.
Okay.
Other people can drop in. We'll be publicising pharmacies and places and that, and obviously referrals from GPs as well for people to come and find out.
You'll send a flyer to us here at GFM, won't you? So we can get that information out to our listeners. Mo,
definitely.
Your work, you're going to be very busy in the months ahead, I'm sure, aren't you?
I need a holiday.
I think there might, if you're going to be wanting to take up a career, it might be a welfare benefits advice at the moment, mightn't it? With all those changes. I've learned a few things today, actually, like the national insurance. I didn't know that was coming.
Yes.
I really didn't, and that's starting in April.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's a website, if people want to hit one website and find out about all these changes, which one do they need to go on to?
The housing council tax benefit changes are actually on our website. So if you go onto www.gloucester.gov.uk/benefits. Also, if they want to do housing council tax benefit online, they can do it online as well on that website address.
All right then. Mo, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to come on the show.